Welcome to For the Record Open Mic. I'm Bill Weaver with NAPA Autotech, and I'm going to share my thoughts on your personal commitment to training and being a better technician. Before we get going, here's an important message from our partner.
ShopBoss is software built by shop owners for shop owners. ShopBoss offers real solutions backed by real experience. Simply put, it's shop management software that works your way. When customers are in the lobby and cars are on the lift, you don't have time for a learning curve. Now that's where ShopBoss comes in with profit-boosting features that work the way you need them to right out of the box. From built-in DVI to robust customizable reporting, ShopBoss makes everything about running a shop work more smoothly. Plus, with their Boss Pay Payments feature powered by 360 Payments, you can enter the era of totally paperless payments. From text-to-pay, remote payments, and consumer financing options to compliant surcharging, and now even offering PayPal and Venmo options, everything is built right into ShopBoss. Plus, everything is backed by a fantastic support team with one goal in mind: your success. Be the boss with ShopBoss.
All right. Now we're back, and I've been given the opportunity to share some of my thoughts from both a technician's perspective and maybe an instructor's perspective. And I'd like to maybe take it from the technician's side first. Why do we need training, and how do I motivate myself and my counterparts in my garage to be better and take more training? Well, I think back as a young technician to how many times I would struggle to try to understand the problem with the car and not having a full understanding of the basic system that I was trying to work on. Through many, many years of failure and trials and tribulations, I think the easiest thing for me to adapt my struggles with was to change the way that I approached the problem. I noticed that with a lack of information or a lack of background, it became a bigger struggle to even start a starting point or come up with a plan on where to start to diagnose a car. I learned from mentorship and other people that were successful in it that a lot of the times it had to do with forming a plan and understanding how the system worked before you were able to walk up to the car with a meter or a scope or some sort of measuring device. You should understand where you're going to hook to and what you're going to see. And in order to get that information into my head, I had to spend some time making myself uncomfortable. And this is where we're going to talk about your personal commitment to training. My mentor showed me that an hour a day, a couple hours on a Saturday, reading technical articles, looking for the information, dragging up a white paper from some sort of patented device that you're working on an automobile will all help you develop a background, a library in your head to how these systems work. The more of that background that you accumulate on your own, the less time that you'll have to spend digging that exact answer out of service information for the cars that you were about to work on. I think in order of operations, a way for us to be more regimented and a way for us to make ourselves uncomfortable and go listen to somebody that has more knowledge on a subject than we do is something that we've struggled with in the industry. I often find myself without the answer to work on a car. And we go back to the same process that we're trying to teach in training, that without the knowledge, without the basic thought process on how to get that knowledge or that information that you're looking for, will tend to stand around the car and wish that something great would happen. And I got to tell you, it just doesn't work that way. The people that are successful in this industry, no matter how many rants that you guys listen to, no matter how many podcasts that we look at, you'll see that there's a mindset, there's a certain type of individual that's successful in automotive. And I would carry that on to about anything that they do in life, because they're persistent, they're regimented, and they seek out the information that they need to make the proper decisions in whatever diagnostics, whatever part of life that they're dealing with. In automotive, especially in the aftermarket, we have struggled to make sure that we have training available to our technicians and ourselves. And it's important for all of us to start looking for these avenues, whether it's through your local part distributor. Obviously, over at NAPA Autotech, we have a nationwide program that's available for you, but it doesn't necessarily just have to be that type of training. There's online training, there's virtual training, there's hands-on training. The idea is that today's technicians, with the amount of different systems, different manufacturers, and different, just communication systems, the way that we do things, they're so varied right now. It's imperative that we have training on each and every one of these systems to understand how it relates to a different manufacturer, how it may relate to your diagnostics that we're doing right now. Let me expound upon that a little bit. If you go to a direct injection class and you learn about direct injection and high pressure fuel delivery, we can take that concept and move it from multiple manufacturers. Now, they don't do it all exactly the same way, but the overview of the process of a direct injection system remains consistent through a lot of manufacturers. We can learn a system and then apply it onto an individual vehicle. I guess my rant is really about how all of us in the industry need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and ask what we're doing to ourselves to make us better. It's really easy when raise time comes around to walk into the boss and tell him that you've been here for a whole nother year, or maybe you've accumulated a couple more tools. But what did you do for yourself? What did you do to make yourself a better person, a better diagnostician? What education did you go and get for yourself? And then more importantly, be able to apply it in your job or in your position that you're at. When I would send technicians to training, or if I was a technician going to training, I thought it was important for me to come back and show the boss, the person that sent me there, the corporation, whatever it may be, I wanted to show them that their investment was well placed. I wanted to come back and exhibit that the knowledge that they allowed me to go accumulate, I could now share and use into the shop and turn it into profitability. Whether it was increased sales, whether it was better diagnostics, better use of our time, implementing a new plan. It's very, very important for all of us to not only take the training, but actually come back and apply that training in a way where it's very easy for people that fund the training, people that put you through it, to see that there is a return on investment. And those of you that are on the side that provide the training, that make those decisions, maybe it's up to us to make the first move. Maybe it's time to explain to them that training is now no longer an option for our shop. We have an expectation of you attending training. And if we would spend a little bit of time after the training event, maybe debriefing or discussing during a lunch and learn about what we picked up and what we could use in our shop to change one process, to change one thing at a time. I see a lot of people go out into training events and then they come back to their shop and they try to rebuild their shop all at one time. They try to implement 10, 12, 14 new processes. And if you can make that work, I think you're very impressive. I am more of the thought of, why don't we come back and pick one process and implement it for 30 days? Literally, to spend 30 days making sure that every time we do this process. We test every car, every battery, every time for 30 whole days. How did it work out? We decide that we're going to do this type of all systems DTC scan and print it out for the customer for 30 days in a row. How did it reflect on our business? And was it worth the time and investment of education? Did it change the process and the bottom line for our shop? So when it comes down to it, guys, it has to start out slow. I can't expect your technician to all of a sudden realize that he's going to go to training one Saturday out of every month or one night a week or whatever the case may be that you can get access to. But what I would ask everybody to do is make it a commitment for the rest of the year. So we're probably somewhere around the 4th or 5th month. This will be popped out into the public. So we've got maybe 8 months left out of the year. Let's take maybe an hour a month and dedicate it into education outside of everything. Dedicate yourself for an hour a month to read a magazine article, go read a tech article. Do yourself a favor. Go out to your shop information service, your Identifix, your On Demand, and let's look at the wiring diagram section. Actually learn how to read a wiring diagram. Why don't we spend some time educating ourselves into how to use the tools that we already have and embracing the education to make our life and the speed of diagnostics and the way that we communicate and work with ourselves amongst one another in the shop. It would actually change if we could elevate the entire shop with education. So I don't want to go on too long with the rant. I think it's high time that everybody looks in the mirror and makes that personal commitment to being better. The technology on cars is not going to go backwards. It's always going to go forward. The amount of change that we have seen in the last 10 years is incredible. If you are out there struggling to fix a car that's a 2003 or 2005 model year, you've got a really horrible surprise coming up in a 2018 or a 2020 vehicle. The amount of knowledge, education, and the amount of forethought before you put any tool on that car has gotten probably more than I've ever seen before. There's a lot of planning and a lot of information that you have to decipher before you decide to put a tool or a diagnostic meter or anything on a car. There's a lot of questions you have to answer ahead of time. All of that is based on education. So once again, Bill Weaver from NAPA Autotech. I'd like to thank all of you guys for listening to my rant, and don't forget to reach out to our partners.